What a sight this is. Auto Club Speedway, something that we don't get to do in real life anymore, but that is what the sim is here for, and we're going to have a load of fun here tonight. It's the Bohlin Svenska Eracingligan's Oval Series season number 9 for 2026. It's myself, Cam Roger, and Ewan O'Leary alongside me, and Dane Bed on the production of this RaceSpotTV broadcast as we bring you the MABI 400 round 2 of the season. And what a season opener it was just a couple of weeks ago. We went to Nashville, and of course tonight we are at Auto Club. We have a shorter season as we've been doing over the course of the last 6 months or so. Instead of having one longer season from sort of August to May, we've got 2 shorter seasons. And this is the second iteration of that. As I said, we're at Nashville Auto Club. We go to Richmond in a couple of weeks, then Echo Park in Atlanta, New Hampshire, Kansas, Bristol, Talladega, and Homestead, Miami in May to try and round out our champion for the season. It was certainly an interesting one last time, as I said, because we finally convinced Marcus Byfeld, who has won 3 of the last 4 seasons of the road course series, we finally convinced him to come over onto the oval side of things. And what did he do? He went and won, didn't he? Absolutely, I say dominated the race. He and Gunnarsson dominated the race, but as Byfeld was able to come out on top in the end, and he leads by 9 points at the front. Marcus Hogman up there in third, joint with Jonas Lepit. Then we have Helmbro in 5th place, but of course points still very, very close. Look at all those drivers of 41 points as well. It's going to be very close with a shorter season as ever, and a point per position is certainly going to keep things very close. But we do have 1 drop round, so it'll be your best 8 out of 9 that count at the end of the season. But we do go into qualifying here at Auto Club, as I say, no longer in use. Very, very sad indeed, because this really is one of the most fun circuits out there. It's so fast, especially in these Class B and NASCAR's is going to be a whole load of fun. Ewan, we come into this with interesting permutations as well in terms of the lap count, in terms of the tyre wear at this track. I think it's not going to be an easy race to win tonight.
Well, certainly not, no. It's really the early point in the season where we're trying to work out who might be up towards the front by the end. You say Marcus Byfeld hasn't got too much experience in this series anyway, doing the oval rounds, but seemed to get off to a good start 2 weeks ago. See how he continues on with the season, though, and see who's sort of around to challenge him, really, over the course of the remainder of this season. Don't think we get too many clues from that in the opening round of the season, but let's wait and see for the remainder. So we follow Linus Broström here. He moves up into the top 10 at least. 8th place is close across the board, really, here in this qualifying session. Exactly what you'd expect to see, but time and again, doesn't especially matter who gets where in the qualifying session. Far more riding on this race, as Alexander Alderson indeed moves up to 2nd place in the front row, it looks like, at the end of this session.
As ever, close times around here. It's so fast. It's going to be a lot for the drivers to manage, but we've not the most banking in the world. Is going to be an interesting one, especially here in turn number 3, to manage that front right tyre especially, and then the rear right. On the exit, you see they're sliding the rear end, pushing up to the top is Aronson in the 24. 3rd place currently. Linus Broström goes up into 2nd place by 5 thousandths of a second. What can Aronson do as he goes across the line? Is he going to stay in 3rd? It looks like he is. So that's going to be 2nd row. Jonas Lepit, another good showing for him on the 2nd row. Hogman as well, following their top 5 performances in the first race of the season. That is looking very, very good indeed. Aronson did win here. So he came to this track as the season opener back in season 7, and he won here, leading almost half of the laps on that day. So he certainly knows what he's doing at this track. We'll have to see if he's able to do the same again. It was actually Bright Esports getting a 1-2-3 that time around. Here's your grid, though, for the second race of the season, the Bohlin Svenska Eracingligan's Oval Series. It is Byfeld on the pole with Broström alongside him. Aronson and Lepit on your 2nd row. Hogman and Uvenum will round out the top 6. Joawallen with Hogman Shots, Helmbro, Gunnarsson, Fagerberg and Kiros inside the top number 12. Then we have Dan Holmer, Fredriksson, Kjellberg, Kenneth Tier, Lundberg and Jesper Eriksson back down in P18 after missing the first round of the season. He's back, but down on row number 9. Erling Forsberg, Broström, Crook, Lars Bolker and Fredrik Ek in P24. And then we have Jonas Skoglund at the back of the field. That's a little bit surprising to see a couple of those drivers like Jesper Eriksson a little bit further back. Lars Bulker as well, who's been very fast Ewan over the last few races. They've got some work to do.
Yeah, they certainly do, but they've got plenty of time to do it around here. As we're about to see, it's an absolutely massive 124 laps around here tonight. That's quite a long way around here, really. 2-mile venue is about 250 miles, a bit longer than what we normally get in this series. And so there is plenty of time to work your way back through the field. I think this is, if there's anywhere this season you want to be qualifying further down, then tonight is fine. I feel it's very wide, Auto Club, the widest I think of the circuits we've got this season, maybe with the exception of Talladega, but that fits into a category all of its own anyway. This is one of those where you can really use the low line, maybe even the high side. There's so many different grooves you can take, and that will allow those who qualify towards the back for this one to maybe come through the field throughout this nearly 250-mile race.
And there are the stats on the screen. Last time we came here was 109 laps. We now have 124, so a good little bit extra, 15 extra laps. The stage is on lap 50, but importantly, the fuel is lap 40. So we will see stops before the stage. I don't think even with a caution we're going to be able to stretch out 10 laps, but you never know. We've seen that a few times before. They only have 4 sets of tyres, so we're going to have the pit stop to the stage, then from the stage obviously everyone pit again, and then there'll be another sort of one-stop situation. So your the number of stops you in is pretty guaranteed. It's just when you use those tyres is going to be very, very important. Yeah, it is, especially considering the tyre drop-off that we've got and the obviously limited amount of tyre sets. That's where it all gets important. I would say that we could though see some quite early stops here for fuel if there are early cautions, even after sort of lap 10 or so, because of that stage on lap 50, knowing that there's another caution. As you say, it effectively starts another race with what will be about 70 laps to go when they restart. That will allow them to one stop to the end of the race from there. But let's see how long the green flag runs are, because in times gone past we've had some very, very long ones at this venue. We certainly have. Auto Club Speedway, the host of the MABI 400. This is the Bohlin Svenska Eracingligan's Oval Series, season number 9. We're going to have Marcus Byfeldt, Linus Broström on that front row, taking us to the green flag. Marcus Byfeldt leading the championship as well, and he gets a solid start. Everyone stays in line nicely. We get underway with the second round of the season. Marcus Byfeldt trying to go back to back and start, but we've got a couple of the Polski Logistics cars in behind. A big send to the inside from the 24 of Alex Aronson. He might be able to take the lead here on the exit of 2.
Let's see out of the opening couple of corners of this race. Aronson still there on the backstretch here on Byfeldt, who will get himself in front, coming down in towards 3 and 4 first time round, but already using those lanes, Aronson, to look to the low side and try and take the lead away.
And a lot of sliding, as you would expect at this track. A lot of pitch in your angle in those cars. Those rear tyres are going to be burning up. We're seeing potentially a drop-off of over 2 seconds over the course of a stint, which is going to be massive if we see green flag stops. The difference between the new and the old tyres is going to be absolutely mental. Side by side we go again in turn 1 as Alex Aronson sends it to the inside, but once again on the exit of 2, Byfeldt can just use that extra space. Having said that, he doesn't have enough. He goes into the wall on the exit of 2. Doesn't he keep enough momentum? Aronson thinking about it, putting his front bumper down the inside. Got Broström also behind, and the green car on the inside is left pits.
Yeah, this could get bad for Byfeldt if he's not too careful, because there is a real train of them here, and a couple of them are teammates. Broström trying to follow his teammate here. Is Aronson going to help him with draft, or is he going to try and box in Byfeldt? Well, he tries to help Broström with the draft, but that could only just get the 71 boxed in there on the inside line. Byfeldt could find this difficult, though, up on the high side now, and you've got to be wary that Hogman and Leppit are right behind, and they could follow through.
And we're also seeing, as you said, Marcus Hogman there get involved on this battle. It's a top 5 battle, really. Pete Telbro sitting pretty in behind with Joel Wallen as we work our way down this back straightaway. Leppit is on that inside line. The other 4 cars on the high line, but we spread out as you work away through turn 3. Almost 3 wide, send to the inside there from Jonas Leppit, trying to go side by side with Byfeldt. They're all wiggling as they try and get on the power. On the exit of turn number 4, Byfeldt now is going backwards. 2 cars gone in Polski Logistics pairing, but in behind for 3rd place. We've got a battle on in towards turn number 1. Leppit still trying to confirm that position, but Hogman is holding it on the outside line.
Yeah, he is still there, and Beifeld is finding this pretty difficult at the moment after getting the pole position. As I mentioned, it could be dangerous for him losing that lead because of the amount that were directly behind him there. And Hagman is going to try and press home that advantage, although on the outside, I do think he's got less of a chance than if he were to the inside here. But anyway, he didn't get to choose. Outside line he goes anyway. It looks like he's gotten a good run this time round. That's the best he's gone through. 3 and 4 on the high side for me, and he's still not quite clear as they go over the line for another lap. Side by side for the lead as well, by the way.
Elias Brosham looks like he's taking the lead in the 71 machine, and often a driver who sits back a little bit, and maybe really the last 6 months has not had the pace that he wanted in this championship, but now he's coming to the forefront, and that is what we like to see. But the 24 does slide back through turns number 1 and 2. It looks like Beifeld's been able to hold on in terms of dropping back massively, but Hagman has got him for P3 as well, so these battles will ebb and flow, and we're keeping a huge train of cars in behind. This is good to see as we have 5 clean laps to start the MABI 400.
And we had 103 clean laps to end this race when we were here for 350 kilometres at the start of the 24-25 season. What would that have been? Late August, maybe, last year? The year before? It's a long time ago. But it was a very, very long run to the end of that race. You mentioned 109 laps that day. We had a very early caution, actually, that day as well, after only 3 laps. And, oh, we've got one here as well. We must have one. There's contact on the backstretch there, and it involves Joe Bohlin, who was the first one to be spun round. He's been spun on the apron, though, so it looks like we might get away with it.
Ericsson and Håkan shot the other 2 cars involved, but as you say, getting onto the apron, the sim has not brought out the caution, so that's a big shame for Bohlin. Look at this front right corner there, smashed up. That car is going to have to come down pit road, the back right as well. Also not looking too pretty. We have a 6-car breakaway at the front. Peter Helmbro has got involved, but now we've got a second and a half back to Jonas Gunnarsson, so that's a shame for him, basically losing the draft off this top 6 pack. We're side by side with the Polski Logistics pairing. We go on to this back straightaways. Brostrom on the inside and Ayrton on the outside.
Yeah, Ayrton trying to get that race lead back again. These two will be exchanging laps led as well, which will be played for points as far as who leads the most is concerned. Will Marcus Hagman get a run on both of them? This is the danger here for the 2 teammates. Got to work this out, I think, because they are slowing one another down. Hagman, they're lucky that Hagman hasn't got a very good run. Now Beifeld is trying to regain his 3rd place back again, so that will just help the 2 out front, but they're not exactly helping each other like teammates.
24 tried to get under the 71 there, but he wasn't able to get down and had a bit of a wobble at the midpoint of 1 and 2. That's lost in momentum. We've got side-by-side Beifelders on the inside of Hagman as we work our way down. Let's actually have a quickly look at the replay. As they're miles away from each other at the moment, fully on the inside, fully on the outside, probably don't see each other in the mirrors. The 43 then comes up really late to cover off the 37, but there was still an overlap there. That's just a too late of a defensive move from the 43, and to be fair, in my opinion, causes that himself.
Yeah, I think so. I think he was maybe not a defensive move, but he did think he was clear, and he wasn't, I think, is what went on there. And unfortunately, Bohlin is the one with the damage. Now, he only needed 28 seconds of repairs, which is quite little compared to the impact that he had. And Håkan Schott, who piled into that as well, didn't have to come in either, although he has dropped down to last of those on the lead lap, which is 16 places down on his 8th place qualifying position. So that's a bit disappointing to him, I suppose. But yeah, that's unfortunately self-inflicted there for Joel Bohlin, and there was no caution for it, which would be especially disappointing to him, because he only spun once he was below the white line down on the back straight.
And I guess they're going to wait for the stage caution and try and take some repairs there and stay on the lead lap for now. I have to see how this one develops. So this is the battle for first. We've got a whole host of drivers involved. The top 6 are there. We can't quite see, but Peter Helmbro is on the back of us, so we work our way down the back straight away. Marcus Beifeld there on the inside of Marcus Hagman. The 2 Marcuses go side by side into 3 and 4. The yellow Toyota on the inside. That is the Street Trends driver who won the first race of the season. On the outside, it is the 12th MHE Racing, but not quite enough to get that. So Beifeld holds on to that 3rd place for now. Gunnarsson is doing his best to bridge this gap. He is closing down slightly, and Fagerberg is not coming with him.
Yeah, and that's how you can tell that Gunnarsson is the one with the pace at the moment. He's not bringing the rest of them with him because he is too quick. Is he going to be able to bridge this gap on his own, though? It's quite difficult. It's quite a drafty sort of circuit, really. Not a super speedway by any means, but it is one of the more wide-open intermediates in the world. And it's very, very similar in a lot of ways to Chicagoland. In fact, it's sort of 2 miles around and very fast all the way around as well. Means that the draft is rather important. Can Gunnarsson just get the ends of that right now and get into this top 6? Well, at the moment, the top 6 almost showing signs of breaking apart, but Leppit almost pushing Hagman there to try and get on with it, and Peter Helmbro not willing to wait around. He goes to the inside now in that battle for 5th position.
Yeah, this is great to see the 77 get involved. We haven't really spoken about him in this top 5 battle so far. He's just sat there behind in 6th place, and everyone is catching. Gunnarsson is definitely there. He is definitely there. It's going to be a top 7 battle very, very quickly indeed. Side by side, Leppit is on the inside, trying to make his way past Hagman, the top 3. Slight breakaway due to this battle. Hagman is going backwards. He's going to have to look in his mirrors very, very quickly for Peter Helmbro. We go onto the front straight away, though, onto lap number 13. So we're not even close halfway through the stage yet, so the tyres still have a long way to go. And I think we're going to be seeing a drop-off quite a bit more. We're already over a second, maybe even a second and a half off the fastest lap. So this tyre wear is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I'm expecting 2 to 2.5 seconds after 40 laps. So that's quite a lot after only 12 in terms of tyre wear. But there you go. That's what it's like in these cars at this venue. Top 3 able to get away now because of this battle for 4th position. We saw the fracturing begin. And now Helmbro is a long way back, and Leppit and Hagman are seeing a big gap open in front of them now. And Gunnarsson can start to just to pick up some places here. Second in the standings after the opener 2 weeks ago. He's got to get up to Marcus Beifeld, start to challenge him this season. I think he's really going to be one of those big challengers over the course of this season based on that opening round in Nashville. We'll see whether that comes to pass, though, because it has been a steady start from him so far in this one.
And an interesting thing, if you look at the championship, as you say, you've got Beifeld leading, Gunnarsson 2nd place, Broström in 3rd. But interestingly, Gunnarsson and Broström both got penalty points from the previous race. Broström got 5, Gunnarsson got 3. So they've lost some points in the standings to Marcus Beifeld. So that is very, very interesting indeed, that they obviously got the result, but they got the penalties. And it is a point per position. So Broström effectively got a 5-place position penalty from that. So you've got to be careful not getting penalties as the season progresses, because those points are going to be very, very, very important at the end of the season. We go a little bit further back in the battle. This is battle for P10. We've got Fredriksson and the 2 Christophers of Gyros and Crook just trying to sneak themselves in that top 10.
Yeah, they are. I have to say it would be a surprise as well. Fredriksson and his ability that we've seen down the seasons. And he is hanging on to 10th at the moment. His teammate Gunnarsson battling with Helmbro further front towards 6th position. Peter Helmbro dropped back there not so long ago. Now he's keeping Gunnarsson up high, not diving and diamonding off the triangle there on the front stretch. Keeping to the inside instead now as he pinned Gunnarsson up high, and now Helmbro is 6th in front of Jonas Gunnarsson. That is a nice overtake, a nice pass and a nice move up, but again, you get the feeling from all these guys they could work together a little bit better and try and catch the leaders again and sort of regain membership of that front group they had earlier on in the day.
One thing that is quite good is we're seeing roughly the cars stay close together. So no one is real. Oh, that's a big hit into the wall from the 33 of Gunnarsson. Oh my word, he was sliding up on the XL4 trying to get the run. Peter Helmbro is definitely going to have some damage on the car. Needs to be careful not to do that too often. It slowed him down enough for the 31 of Fagerberg to have the run on the inside. I was saying earlier that he was pulling away, but that has been sort of overturned in the last 5 laps. Fagerberg has been able to get that. Fagerberg, who of course has been doing very well in this championship. He only led 1 lap in the end at Nashville, but he was up to the front quite a lot until an incident put him a little bit further back, causing one of the cautions that we had that day. But my point about a lap ago was that everyone's staying close together, which is good, because on a circuit where there's high tyre wear, normally we see things spread out.
Wow.
Leppit comes in though, lap 17. I guess it makes sense to do a stop before the caution, but he's gone in very early.
That's exceptionally early. as you say, that they'll have to make a stop before the stage break caution, which comes at lap 50. That should be about 10 laps too far, but is Leppert having to come into pit lane and forced here? No, he is going into his box. See how many tyres he takes here, because we only get 4 sets for the race. You don't want to be squirming one of them already after just 17 laps, surely, and he does stay on the ground. So not taking tyres there, just taking the fuel required to get him to the end of the stage. Now, that's very interesting. For me, to be honest, if you're going to take fuel only, and I don't mind the call, surely you want to do that on lap 40 and try and catch a caution before you have to do it, because all that's going to happen now for Leppert is that he's probably going to go a lap down, or at least if not very close to it. That puts him in real danger of getting trapped there for the rest of the race.
Indeed, and the whole point of doing something like this when it's green flag is he'll go on fresher tyres, he'll be a second a lap faster than everyone else, and by the time they pit in 10 laps time, he would gain 15 seconds. That's the general idea by pitting early, but he hasn't put on the fresh tyres, so he's just going to be going the same pace as them, if not slower, because he's actually got a bit more weight in the car.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say exactly the same. It's going to be a heavier car now, so yeah, quite the opposite is going to happen. He's going to spend more laps going slower.
That is an interesting call. Let's see what works out, because it's not always the the strategy that everyone does, which is the winning one. Sometimes it is a strategy where one person will do something a little bit different. As we stand at lap 20, we're halfway through the first, well, not even quite halfway through, a couple more laps now halfway through the first stage. Ericsson leads from Brosham. Marcus Beifeld sitting there in third place. It's the top 3 breakaway. They've got away from Marcus Hogman now. We're seeing the car stay low, the 24. Is he going to be coming down pit road as well, or is that just an interesting one? No, just a lower line he's taking through 3 and 4. I would be surprised to see them pit this early under green, but you never know. Someone might try something who had a little bit of an issue. Who is that? Is that Peter Helmbro? I think. Yeah, Peter Helmbro is having some issues, and hopefully he doesn't drop out, because he's one of those drivers we were looking to get a top 5 as it stands.
So is Frederick Eck, and I can't see Jonas Gunnarsson right now either. So there's 3 missing now. Dan Holmer's gone for a couple of laps. I wonder whether that's something in the same vein. Yeah, something weird's going on at the moment, because that's quite a lot of connection problems all in one go, and it looks like they've all dropped out as a result. We may well have lost quite a percentage of the lead lap there with some of the connection problems we've just seen. That is a bit unusual,
and that is a big shame for those drivers to all have a I guess an internet issue of some sort that has dropped them out. As we're seeing another pit stop, it's Kjellberg here in the 162 machine coming down. It was around the sort of P13, P14 marker at that time. And yeah, it's just always a big shame when you lose some drivers, especially some ones up towards the front, Gunnarsson and Helmbro, because they play a factor in people's strategies later on in the race. Having an extra couple of cars up towards the front now, that opens up some spots for some other drivers, and they may end up making some slightly different calls a little bit later. We'll have to find if that affects anything. Christopher Crook has jumped up into 7th place ahead of Fredriksson as well, who they are slowly but surely working their way forward. In fact, the 2 Christophers have got in front of Fredriksson from the last time that we saw that battle.
Well, just over 100 laps to go. And if you are going to change tyres in this first stage, then it's not the worst idea, to do it right now. Jesper Eriksson looks like he's going to do the same as well, as rejoining the racetrack just in front of these guys. Looks like Dan Holmer, he's 3 laps down, maybe about to go 4 down. There comes Peter Helmbro, he's 2 laps down at this stage after that connection problem. Jonas Gunnarsson and Frederick Eck are still not back on the racetrack. Real big shame, though, that all that's happened in one go. And I'm sure there will be a reason for it, but it's hard to work out what that might be at the moment. I wonder if they'll live sort of in the same region or something, and there's been a bit of real-world outage in some part of the world, but I've got no idea.
Yeah, it's always just a momentary drop, but if it's enough to go out of the server, then unfortunately, that is sim racing. We have, looks like X coming back in as well. It's fair play for Helmbro as well, getting back out there. He's a couple laps down. He's going to need some lucky dogs to get to the front, but you might as well go out there, see what happens. There's still 100 laps to go. There's plenty of time. We're only 20% of our way through the race, and we are just coming up to halfway. Lap 25 is halfway off the stage. Aracingligan leads now by half a second. He's got a small little breakaway from these two in behind of Broström and Byfeldt. They're easily away from Hagman now, who's dropping back further and further, and he lost another couple of tenths on the previous lap as well. But as we work our way onto the back straight, Byfeldt is looking pretty calm there in third place.
Yeah, he's got an interesting decision, I think, because he looks quicker at this stage in the run than Linus Broström. So we're about 2/3 of the way through a tyre set now. The tyre's really feeling it, but if he tries to pass Broström, are they just going to lose even more time to Alexander Aracingligan, who's leading this race at the moment and could extend a lead? I mean, he's already got a fairly sizable advantage anyway, more than half a second over Aracingligan, but in towards turn one, he's not able to get down the inside there. Byfeldt. Yeah, I think it's an interesting call he's got coming up. Does he help Broström catch or at least live with Aracingligan? Does he try and make his own pass here? Very interesting decision upcoming.
Well, this is similar to what we saw on the midpoint as Zek gets a black flag. Interesting middle point of the previous race in Nashville when Byfeldt was behind Gunnarsson, saved a load of fuel, and then it helped him later. So I wonder if Byfeldt's doing the same. He doesn't really need to get to the front. The extra couple of points for winning the stage compared to 8 points where he is now, I mean, they would be nice, but now he's gone for it. Broström's slower 3 and 4, and the 105 decides this is the time that he wants to go into second place. He's got the inside line. Broström is not going to fight that one, and now Byfeldt can chase down the lead, but Byfeldt definitely would have been saving fuel there for a few laps, and that's going to help him a lot later in the race.
Well, it's not going to get him to the stage, but it might well just shorten this this pit stop coming up in a few moments' time. They will have to stop before lap 40, you would imagine, or around lap 40, to take a little bit more fuel to get themselves to that stage break, which comes at lap 50 here tonight. I wouldn't expect to see tyres taken, because if you want to do that and you want to do it sort of halfway through, and we're past that now, and I agree with these guys, by the way, that they shouldn't change tyres before the stage break, to be honest, especially the top contenders. I mean, you only get 3 tyres to change on to at some point in the race. Even if you take one of those at the stage break, and then that leaves you one more pit stop to the end, and then you take another at that pit stop, then that leaves you one back for a late caution maybe. It looks like a set of tyres for a late caution might be a good idea based on the tyre drop-off we're seeing here.
Oh, definitely. You want to be keeping them in, because if there's late caution and you're going to put new set of tyres on, be 2 seconds lap quicker, it's a no-brainer that you're going to do that. So Hagman, Fagerberg, they come down pit road. As it stands, looking at it, yeah, they're both sort of 14-odd second pit stops, so they are 4 tyres and, of course, a full tank of gas as well as they go back out, and they will be going to the stage now. They are going to go just about a lap down, so that is going to be difficult if none of these guys... Actually, I guess they're going to have to come in, so I guess they'll get their lap back, but if there's a caution in between now and the stage caution, that is where it gets a little bit awkward, and they'll be locked 1 lap down.
Yeah, there will be a big decision to make indeed as well. So interesting to see what happens there. But the gap for the front 3 now is very large. But there's a number of drivers on new tyres who are coming through here. And look at the train behind. Broström getting lost in the midst of it all now. As at this stage only 14 on the lead lap. That just shows you how many have been in pit lane. Most of them taking tyres, and most of them therefore overtaking the top contenders, and the difference is absolutely stark. Look at that.
Certainly is. That is quite a wild representation. So actually, don't go with that down for long. I guess it just shows you how the tyres... We're 3 wide, by the way, in the foreground there. As the drivers try and work their way through the traffic around the leaders. This is interesting, but it's a stark reminder that the tyres going to be a very important factor later in the race. The fact that these guys can just drive around the race leaders. Well, Hagman comes up there in front of the 24s. Got to be careful not to cause contact, but it's amazing how much time you gain, even just on the straightaway, just because of the momentum you get off turns 2 and 4. Yeah,
it's such an advantage, those new tyres at this venue, and they're all making use of it at the moment. That was Hagman, by the way, with a lap car, I believe. He's now with Kjellberg. That was close, very close. Aracingligan closing the door there on Jesper Eriksson, is he weaving around there to show his displeasure or something? That was not very odd. but now he's going to go around the outside and he's going to get through. That was a bit unusual. You'd expect Ericsson to have left that window open there for Ericsson to just fly by, because they're on completely different strategies at this stage in the race. Ericsson putting himself in a bit of unnecessary danger there.
I agree, but Ericsson's also leading the race by only 4/10 from Byfeld. So you can see it from both point of views as caution comes out, lap 32. And this is going to be an interesting one, because we were expecting, if it stayed green, no one was going to take tyres until the stage caution. But now we have a different situation. Eric Lundberg is stuck on the exit of 4, sort of in the trioval. He's towed back to pit lane, so he's out of the way, but it doesn't matter because the pace truck is already out and the drivers will be slowing down. But I guess, Ewan, everyone who hasn't stopped has to go into pit lane.
I think so. It really depends now in terms of I think they will come in for fuel 100%. Anybody who doesn't come in here is a lunatic who hasn't been in already. Do they take tyres, though, is the much more interesting question, I feel, because these old tyres now are rubbish compared to the new ones, as Harrison flies past the pace truck there. In a way he's not quite meant to. Does he take tyres here? It really depends for me on how much do you want those stage points. How much value do you put on them at this early stage in the season? So we have a look here at what actually he calls the caution for Eric Lundberg. He's on the inside of one of the drivers, and he comes up. He's not quite clear, though, and that's quite a big impact. That's why he's got a meatball flag. I can't work out actually who that was with. Might have been Dante Forsberg, actually, who he made that contact with, but you can absolutely see why that has got him a meatball. Yeah, do you take tyres here or not? Again, depends how much you put on the stage points. I would go for it, to be honest. But if you take these tyres, you know that you're using tyres that you probably won't be able to change at the stage break itself on lap 50. So I think you've got a choice here to either take them now or on lap 50.
I'm just trying to think. So there's a lot of drivers, only the top 11, by the way, who haven't pit. So Lepit has the fuel, so he's not going to stop. He's going to stay out. Surely those drivers are then just going to jump to the front. Fagerberg is staying out. Oh, but he's lapped down, that's why. So everyone in behind looks like they're coming down pit lane. This is definitely the correct decision because they need the fuel. Let's see how many goes up on the jacks. Everyone in the top 11 come down pit lane. Even Lepit comes back in. He was the one who stopped all those laps ago, so he's really just lost out massively from this because he did a green flag stop for no reason. Let's see who's going to rotate to the front. Looks like it's going to be Tony Uvelen. Cars go up on the jacks. No, yes, no. 24. No, they do not take tyres. Oh, Brostrom does. Brostrom takes outside tyres. We see Byfeld and the 24 Ericsson not taking tyres. That is very interesting. Actually, Linus taking all 4. So the 24 taking none and Linus taking 4 tyres. I didn't quite see Byfeld. What was Byfeld's time? It was 12 seconds. So he must have also... what would he have taken if it's only 12 seconds? 12
seconds, quite a long fill, but I didn't see him up on the jacks. I mean, we saw that stop with our own eyes. I didn't see him on the jacks. So I don't think he did take tyres. I don't mind this call from Linus, though, to be honest. He is going to have 10 lap fresher tyres than those who stayed out, who, yes, as you predicted, have gone to the front, but I mean, we saw the wear after even 12 laps earlier. What was it? A second and a half nearly after 12 laps for the leaders earlier. They've absolutely got the chance there. Those who have just stopped to run around to the front and get the stage win here. I think Linus Brostrom is absolutely odds-on favourite for the stage now after taking those tyres. And I think that's a good call for him. Yes, he'll have to skip out on tyres on lap 50, but I think that will all be worth it. Somebody coming in there is just preventing themselves from getting back on the lead lap. That's Håkan Schott, who would have got the wave around otherwise, but he's not going to get that anymore. Jesper Eriksson and Dante Forsberg are both trying to repair cars while they are under caution here and get out in time to stay on the lead lap. But there will be a couple of drivers getting a wave around. Not a clue why Schott came in there. He could have got the wave around back on the lead lap, but decided he didn't want it.
I don't know. This is an interesting strategy because, to be fair, I don't think either what Eriksson did or what Brostrom did is necessarily a bad choice or the wrong choice. It just depends when you get your cookies, because Eriksson is going to stay out, but Brostrom's easily going to win this stage if he's taken all 4 tyres. It's a weird one, tough one. But then when we get to the stage caution, Eracingligan will be able to put on some fresher tyres and he'll be faster at the stage. So it's going to be a tough one to work it out. Let's see what happens. Lap 35 is a 15-lap dash to end the stage here in Auto Club Speedway. We're a quarter of the way through the race, the MABI 400. And of course, it's round 2 of the Bohlin Svenska Eracingligan's Oval Series. It's been a somewhat quiet first 30 laps, and then the caution was brought out with Lundberg having some contact with Forsberg. But we go back to racing once again. It's Uvenen, Hagman on the front row. They've stopped about 11 and 7 laps ago. Kjellberg 13 laps in behind. And then we get the normal field in behind as we stood. And as the pace truck comes in, Tony Uvenen, who's been showing some strong performances in the last few months, is going to take us back to the green flag here at Auto Club. How good is this start going to be? As he's on slightly older tyres, a bit of a wiggle there. And of course, a lot faster cars in behind. Let's see how this one works. So having said that, quite a few drivers also didn't take tyres at that stop. We get back to green flag racing, and is Marcus Hagman actually diving it to the inside, trying to take the lead away through the entry of turn number 2. He slid his way down the bottom, and as a car, I think as Forsberg gets going on the back straightaway, Hagman takes the lead.
Yeah, but Linus Broström diving to the inside there was the one certainly showing his new tyres early on. And I would imagine after a couple of laps of green flag racing here, he'll be at the very front of the field. But let's see. He tries to look now with Forsberg on the inside. He's going to find that quite difficult to get past Tony Uvenen there. That's acting as a bit of a roadblock in front of him. But look at this circuit right now. Absolutely filled 2 and 3 wide with these cars going into battle at the beginning of another green flag run here. That caution, by the way, was the first in nearly 100 laps of green flag racing. First caution for incident in nearly 100 laps of green flag racing. We had quite a long one towards the end of Nashville, and we've started off well here tonight as well.
Yeah, I mean, that shows some good racing indeed. And let's see how this one works out. So Hagman, he's on 9-lap old tyres. Broström is on 3, so only 6-lap difference between them. So it's not that Hagman is on old tyres, let's say, but older indeed than Broström. So Broström's going for these 10 points. He wants to get that stage win. And let's see where Eracingligan's going to drop, because he's already 2 and a bit seconds off after starting ahead of Broström. That is pretty crazy to see the difference in speed already. And needs to try and hold on. Byfeld's losing some positions. Giros has got past him in for P7. Kenneth Tears dropped down as Fagerberg gets him. Kenneth Tears dropping down even further because Lepit is actually recovering after a terrible strategic option earlier on. With 3 wide in the background and some contact is being made. Lepit's got one of the Sim Race Sweden cars alongside him. I think that might be Jesper Eriksson trying to make some moves. It is absolutely crazy, but look at this for the lead. Broström goes through, Hagman down to second.
Yeah, as expected. 12 laps to go until the points are dished out, and Broström's leading again, and that is no surprise, really, given the new tyres, given the advantage that was always destined to be here. Fagerberg down the inside of Giros again, in towards turn number 1, just up in front, and he gets through here. This is an almighty group, and this is why I think I would probably have gone for tyres, to be honest, in that caution. Look at Eriksson here. He's struggling to even hang on to the top 10 at the moment, and so is Marcus Byfeldt.
Well, he will get the benefit a bit later on, but he's going to lose 10 points to Linus Broström, and in such a short championship, that might be a bit of an issue. Eriksson to the outside line, and just for your reminder, Eriksson missed the first race of the season, and he probably will miss some more. So with only 1 drop round, he's probably not in a championship contending position, but he is going to take points away from other people. Let's see what he can do. He's into P10 right now, and he's trying to work his way up as he gets past Marcus Byfeldt. We'll also see Bjorn Broström get past the 24, who's now out of the stage points.
Yep, but, you know, again, to reiterate, the reason why I would have gone for it is because, yes, Broström has less tyres to use, but he's already banked the stage points, and I think that there'll be at least another caution after the stage caution at lap 50 for him to sort of get back in touch with those who will be seeing the benefits a little bit later on. So I think it is going to come back to help Broström, if I were to guess. But let's see. That's an incident out of turn 4. Are we going to get away without a caution? We are indeed again. And we're going to stay green. Kjellberg, the one who is going slowly on the front stretch here, and he's in the wall again. He can't turn through 1 and 2.
Oh, is he going to have to tow back to pit lane, or can he roll his way around safely? It looks like he's able to do so for now. He's really just got one final corner to go. That is almost contact with Lundberg, who didn't quite see him going a little bit slower. But in the end, he's able to get himself down to the inside line. And he's got away with that one. And so has the race. Because imagine if he had just another caution now. That'd be quite a big decision as well. He goes in deep into 3 as he works his way. He's looking pretty okay for now. And still okay, and then just runs up a bit high. Does he get further contact? Yes, he does. The 40 of Leppert just tags his rear left corner, which is really what does the damage and put him in the wall properly.
And you can see the damage as he came down towards turn 1. The damage very, very severe because couldn't really turn at all, and no fast repairs in this series. That could take quite some time to repair. Leppert has, in the end, seen this race come back to him after a little bit of a strange call earlier. He is starting to work his way back through the field here. Fagerberg with a bad exit off of 4. And here comes Janis Leppert. He's into the top 3. And if he can stay there by the end of the stage, he'll be very pleased, I think, with this opening 50 laps.
Absolutely. And just an update on Alex Aronson. He's 10 seconds off Linus Broström in the 71. 10 whole seconds. That is so much, considering we still have 7 laps to go, and the pace difference is looking to be over a second a lap. So he is going to be, if it stays green, best part of half a lap behind his teammate rival that he was ahead of before that pit stop. This was so close. It was actually Skoglund in the 83 car that was so close to hitting Kjellberg there. Fortunately, didn't cause an accident.
Yeah, thankfully. As Linus Broström continues to lead here. 80 laps to go, by the way, in the overall race at the end of this one, but only 6 in the stage. And I think Broström is hot favourite now to win the stage. Hagman only 6 laps older tyres, and a lot of those laps came under the caution, so he's able to stay with him, but even that sort of very, very minor difference is being felt by Hagman at the moment. Broström is able to just extend out a nice lead here with some of his main contenders quite a long way back. Broström and Gyros, meantime, side by side for 7th position. Behind them, a very large gap back to Jesper Eriksson. Anybody outside the top 8 is, well, a long way from the front of the field.
Certainly, this has changed the race quite a bit. That caution that we had almost 15 laps ago now. Some drivers stopping for tyres, some not. And in a tyre race, that is a very big call. We're seeing Aronson, he's now 12 seconds off the lead. He's down in P11. He's a second off the points. Beifeld is just holding on to that top 10 position and trying to get inside the stage points. Talking of stage points, Bjorn Broström up into 6th place. This is one of the highest positions that we've seen him run in the series. And there's only 5 laps to go. Oh, he gets a big swapper on. He's able to hold it, but he goes into the wall.
Yeah, and this is going to cost positions now. Uvenen easily through. Christopher Gyros not too far away either, but he's able to chop in front of him. It looked like Gyros wasn't quite committed to firing down the inside there. And in fact, Broström wants to regain on Uvenen here. Uvenen was one of the earlier ones to take on those newer tyres, so he's suffering for that now. And maybe that's Gyros' thought process here. Bjorn Broström can just help me to follow through on Uvenen in this battle for 6th position, but Uvenen hanging on the outside line for the moment.
Absolutely, this is a lovely battle between these guys as we go on to lap 47. Let's see as we go on to lap 47, and this is going to be an important factor in terms of if there were to be a caution now, but it looks like Broström is holding on strong at the front. Doesn't really matter for him. We're looking at Christopher Gyros, the teammate, of course, of Beifeld. Both of these drivers inside the top 10, trying to get those stage points. What a battle this has been. But Bjorn Broström has actually completely pulled away. Just showing you how some fresher tyres are so strong in this track. And that's a big wiggle on. I think that's Forsberg in the background. Don't cause another caution.
Yeah, well, yeah. We've already seen that once tonight. Although only once, because this is one of those circuits where longer green flag runs are the norm. Erling and Fagerberg. Oh no! They're in the wall now off of 4. Caution's out, and that ends stage 1.
And that means Aronson definitely not getting the points when we get to the stage. As you say, that is going to end the stage on lap number 48. Broström will be leading the stage and winning the stage, and that is a very good decision from him to take the tyres. But Now the stage is going to come out. We're going to go back down into pit lane. Does he keep these tyres on? They've only done 14 laps. Or does he have to go to fresh tyres because everyone else will?
Well, I think I would stay out if I was him, or indeed come in for fuel only. You can't take your second set of 3 tyres with still more than 70 laps to go. I think that would put Broström into a real corner for the remainder of this race. So, yes, he's got those 10 points. That's job done, but now over the next 40 laps or so, I think he's going to go into a bit of a period of suffering, to be honest, compared to those around who will have tyres on.
And as the teams of drivers work out what they're going to do in the pit lane, we'll take a quick break. We'll be back after these messages. And welcome back to Auto Club Speedway. As lap number 50, the stage has come to an end and the drivers are working their way out of the pit lane. It's been an interesting one in terms of strategy getting to this point. But now that it's stage out, we assume everyone's going to go full tank, full fresh set of tyres, and it looks to be the case. But having said that, actually, Elias had a 12-second stop, maybe not quite. All 4 tyres, but it could just be 2 on there at least to try and help him work his way forward. We now have Marcus Hogman leading. Giros has got himself up into legitimate 3rd place. Eracingligan down to 7th after a strategic blunder. Ewan, it's a bit all over the place right now.
It is. The top 3, I don't think, took any tyres there in that caution, and you know they'll want to save those for later. So I can absolutely understand that. Janis Lepit, as far as I can see, is the only driver to have taken tyres this time who did take tyres at some point during that first stage. I think he might only have 1 set of tyres left, which makes life, I think, for him very difficult towards the end of this race. So see if I'm wrong about that. But it has given him 4 for now, and it might even give him a chance to lead some laps later. Alexander Aronson up to 7th at least after the caution, but he spent a lot of that latter run there outside of the top 10, not picking up anywhere near as many stage points as he would like, certainly. But same went for Marcus Byfeld and some others as well. So it was Linus Broström really who was the big winner, I think, out of stage 1.
Absolutely. I mean, he made the right strategic call. He was able to win the stage and then basically put himself in a great position for this next part. As you say, I think in the end he didn't take tyres, so the top 3 are going to be on the back foot a little bit when we get racing again, because it was a good 15 laps that we had on those tyres. Well, I guess actually in terms of racing laps it was probably only about 12, but still they've done some miles and they are going to be a little bit off the pace. I mean, maybe even a second off, and that is going to be very, very crucial around here a little bit later on. So look for the likes of Marcus Byfeld about 6th place, at Aronson in 8th. Look at them jumping up now that they have the fresher tyres and might be able to get themselves back forward. But they've already lost the points. So Aronson has lost 10 whole points to Broström, and Byfeld, I think he only got 1 point in, so he lost 9. So that's a whole load of points to lose in the championship terms. But anyway, we'll have to find out what goes on. We're back to double file. It's lap 51 on to lap 52, and it's the Bohlin Svenska Eracingligan's Oval Series for 2026, season 9 of this great championship, and we get back underway as Joel 1 has been black flagged already. There's movement all over the place, left, right and centre, as cars have some terrible restarts, and also Jonas Gunnarsson has got black flagged, the 33. He's got himself back out there on the track after a connection issue, but he's going to have to go back down pit lane.
I'm not sure whether that was something going wrong with the wave around for those two, but they were both flying up to the back of the pack there, trying to get back in the game with 4 wide nearly on the back straight. Ireson couldn't quite get to make it 4 wide, but that might be a relief. He is looking to make some moves, though, on these newer tyres. Don't forget the front 3 didn't take any, or certainly didn't take 4 in that previous pit stop. And so while Brostrom's leading for the moment, there's a whole load of chargers behind looking to try and take those positions away. Leppert is the leader of those on the new tyres at the moment, trying to take the lead.
And he's got a push from Marcus Beifeld, who's already up into 4th place, second on that inside line in the yellow Street Trends machine. We work our way through the first couple of corners. They're surely going to have so much more grip. And yeah, look at that. Hogman and 71. 4 cars go up the inside of them. That is just showing you the monumental grip difference that they have at this time. And I think even Arroton is going to get by Brostrom in just about 2 laps of action since going back. That is absolutely crazy to see the difference in the grip. So Brostrom did the right call to get the points at the stage, but now it's all about getting the points at the end of the race, and that is what we're going to be charging down for the next 70 laps.
Yeah.
Oh
no, contact! Yeah, Giros is the one who spun, and that's going to cause a caution hit. Caution very soon after we've gone green flag racing after the stage, and Giros is one of them who's in the wall. I think Kenneth Tier was one who was with him there. Not entirely sure how it's actually started back there. Jonas Skoglund, as you can see there, also has a meatball flag.
Yes, let's have a look at how that one unfolded, because that was sort of off the screen a little bit and we just jumped into the carnage. I would assume cars moving around a lot off the exit of turn number 4, trying to make some positions on these first couple of laps after the restart. Everyone's so close together. There's a great opportunity. So let's see this. So this is Giros, the red 36 in the middle. Skoglund's car on the outside. He ends up with the meatball. Oh, we're getting a squeeze, a big squeeze to Giros on the outside. Skoglund gets a hit from Kenneth Tier as well on the infield. That puts him into the wall. That's what gives him the meatball in the end. But that was just Giros trying to slide up when having a car on the outside. We've seen that a couple of times already this race. Yeah,
we have. And, you know, I mentioned the width of this venue. Wonder whether that is playing a role in this now, because at some stages they're so far apart in a side-by-side battle, or any 2 given drivers, that actually when they go out together again, they don't forget obviously that they're side-by-side, but it is harder to work out whether you're actually still alongside somebody when they are so far away. And that I think maybe has contributed a couple of times here tonight to the incidents that we've seen. That does give Jesper Eriksson, though, the chance to get back onto the lead lap. Gives us 13 drivers on the lead lap, as long as Giros can stay on it with the repairs he's currently doing down on pit lane.
Yeah, I do like to see there is still quite a few drivers out there, despite being laps down. They are still trying to get themselves through the race. I mean, we're not even halfway through the race yet, so there's still plenty of time and potential for cautions for them to get the lucky dog, get themselves back around, but it is a long, long game for some of these drivers. I mean, Ericsson has been in the pit lane for over 2 minutes as well. So he definitely has had some issues as he comes back down, trying to sort that out. Lap 55, Leppert leads from Uvenham. And Lepis had a weird strategy today, Ewan, but he's actually got himself in a pretty good position as it stands. And, he can work his way forward from here. He's just got to hope that there's not loads of cautions later on where he gets caught out with him having 1 set of new tyres compared to a lot of people having 2.
And maybe it's not the worst venue to actually do that, because it is one of those places here at Auto Club where we do see a lot of long green flag runs. As I referenced earlier, the opening round of the 24-25 season was here, and we did the last 103 laps green flag racing. Now, that might be different here because we know that the maximum run to the end is about 70 laps, and 70 laps to the end is a whole lot closer. It's about 1/3 closer to the finish from 103, so that does change everything, of course. But I think if there is a venue where you don't want to be banking on a late safety car, it is here. And, Lepit's making that gamble, I feel. There's probably not going to be a late safety car where everybody piles in for tyres and they'll all beat me to the end. So I'm going to take the gamble and spread out and sort of use newer tyres earlier in the race. But again, even if this is a long green flag run to the end, and or even if there's maybe only one more caution to the end with quite a long time to go, the time at which, the window in which he can actually pit now is actually very narrow. So he has rather backed himself into a corner with this strategy.
Well, he doesn't have many options, but I guess he just has to hope that the thing that works is the option that he's gone for. It's going to be a very interesting one on the strategy. We knew that this was coming throughout the whole race, but as we get closer and closer towards the half distance, is working out exactly who has positioned themselves well to get to the end of this race. So Linus Broström is down into 6th position as it stands, but he's on older tyres, remember. Everyone inside the top 5 has fresher tyres already. We've already seen the likes of Byfeld and Aronson. They've got past Broström already, just within a lap or so of the green flag. So let's see this once again. We're going to come back to green flag racing for another time of asking. This time is Jonas Lepit in the number 40, who takes us to the green flag. With Tony Uverden alongside him, a little bit of wiggling, but a lot more clean than what we saw the previous restart. Working away to turn number 1 and 2 is Marcus Byfeld, the yellow machine on that inside line, trying to push his way forward. All of these top 5, though, are on the same age tyres.
Well, look at turning underneath all of them, though, on the inside line there. Byfeld looks like he wants to take the lead. He's not quite going to make it 3 wide on the back straight here. And it's those on the outside who are going to have a better run. That is Fredriksson pushing Uvernen on the outside line into the lead of this race. Byfeld trying to turn underneath them all here and make it 3 wide, but he's at the moment sort of boxed in by Lepit.
Certainly is, working through 3 and 4. It looks like it's a great exit there from Tony Uvernen. Lepit dropping down 2 positions already on this restart, with Fredriksson trying to push the lead. He gets the inside run, and as we come through the tri-oval, he's easily there alongside, and he makes it on the brakes in towards the first corner with 3 wide in the background. Marcus Byfeld on the outside of Lepit, but it's Alex Aronson in the 24 out of nowhere, jumps up from 5th to 3rd place. Big slide on the exit as they try and get the power down onto this back straight, and Byfeld has the run, but he's pushing his rival down towards turn 3.
Yeah, it's just a rare moment of rivals working together before Aronson dives to the inside of Uvernen here and looks to take that 2nd position away. These guys at the front are on the same strategy here. All of the top 5, with perhaps the exception of Lepit, when you take into account tyres remaining, they've all got the same strategy up ahead here. In towards turn 1. There he goes again. Aronson trying to take the position away from Uvernen. You'd expect him to be quicker than Uvernen, to be honest, but he can't get it done at the moment.
We had to back out the gas there on the exit of 2. That's going to lose him momentum. The 105 gets underneath him as he has the momentum down this back straightaway. Byfeld, he pushed him on this straight a lap ago. But this time, he's going to be going for it, and that should be P number 3 for the 105 machine. He's got it stuck on the brakes in towards turn number 3. This is absolutely awesome battling. What that's done, though, is left the top 2 a little bit of breathing air as Fredriksson leads from Uvernen to start lap 60.
It's a remarkable bit of defending at the moment from Uvernen. If he can continue this race all of a sudden gets very, very different and a lot more interesting, I would argue, if Uvernen can keep those behind. We've noted that it is a sort of draft circuit, but not one of those where it's likely that overtakes are going to be happening sort of here, there and everywhere. You do have to really work on them. And Uvernen himself is looking to the inside of Fredriksson here, so he's feeling that attacking for the lead might be his best way of holding on to positions.
Look at Byfeld getting the run. I said there was a bit of a breakaway for the top 2. Not anymore. The yellow Street Trends car, as he comes across the line, does have the momentum on the inside towards turn number 1. Surely he's going to be able to get through on Uvernen here this time around. Uvernen does not defend that at all and lets the yellow car get through. So now it's Fredriksson versus Byfeld onto the back straightaway. I say that Uvenen's thinking about it on the exit of turn 2, but Byfeld is not actually chopping him up. So Uvernen, as he sort of left the position in turn number 1 is actually fighting back here towards turn 3, in towards the inside line we go, and Byfeld will have that stuck. But look at the train of cars in the background. Any of these drivers could battle, whereas Linus Broström has dropped down to P9 as it stands, so it's not too bad, but he really is hoping for another caution at some point to try and take on and fresh their tyres. The problem is we need to go another 25 laps really to get to the end of the race.
That is the thing about the strategy that Broström has employed here. He does need a caution at some point just to sort of bring everything even again. Everybody apart from Leppert has got 2 sets of tyres down on pit lane, so I don't think it matters particularly when that caution comes out, but I think any time from now Broström would like one, and he would take tyres within it as well, and at that point it doesn't really matter when or indeed if the cautions arrive. So he's just hoping for one more here in my view. Let's see whether it arrives and how far behind he'll be by the time it does, as well as Marcus Byfeld dives to the inside. He takes the lead from Oscar Fredriksson as we cross half distance here tonight.
That is a big important factor. Here comes a 33 of Gunnarsson. We've seen them up towards the front there a lot this race, but remember, he's 2 laps down after those connection issues earlier, but he's still a fast car and he's still involved in this battle in terms of track position. So that is going to take some draft from other people. It's going to put himself in the middle of these battles, and he's trying to help his teammate Fredriksson, who's just up ahead of him, and he goes to the inside line there of Uvinen, who's actually going to now leave the door open for the 24 of Ayrton, who has to back out of that one a little bit. I think it would have come up higher if he was able to do so, but it's Gunnarsson who goes through, and Ayrton has to stay behind.
Yeah, indeed. Ayrton still in 4th position for the moment. Not maybe making overtakes as quickly as I thought he might do, if I'm honest. There's another look down the inside here of Uvinen, with in the midst of all of it, Gunnarsson still hanging around, 2 laps down at the moment, and if he can get one of those laps back sort of naturally, he'll be 1 lap down and he can fight for the free pass in a few moments' time. He would again need at least 1 more caution though. Down the inside he goes. He at the moment is on very new tyres by the looks of things. He pitted after that very short green flag run to begin the final stage, and that's given him a slight edge over the rest of the field, and he's unlapped himself there. He's now only 1 lap down.
What a tie game we have today. You can be laps down and still be faster than the leaders and literally drive your way to the front of the field. That's a big marker, depending on when we get pit stops later on, that you can literally drive forward and get those positions. So the choice of your final pit stop today is going to be very crucial indeed, especially if we stay green flag running. No draft for anyone as Gunnarsson goes completely to the inside to avoid that one, but to the inside also goes Uvinen. This will be for 2nd place if he can try and get past Fredriksson. It's all getting a bit congested here. Everyone's closing up a little bit. We have the top 7 really in this top battle, of Helmbro on the back of it, as Jesper Eriksson is a 2.5 off the back.
Yeah, indeed, Eriksson, one of those who's battled with being off the lead lap at various points tonight as well, and he's making his first appearance this season too, as we mentioned earlier on in the day. Wasn't here last time out for the season opener in Nashville. Outside line for Fredriksson, meantime, on Alexander Ayrton. Now Fredriksson's going to get the better run onto the back straight here, but Ayrton might finally be working his way forward here into 3rd position. Again, this is taking longer for him than I thought it would, and I felt in the meantime is going to go past him and in front of him now as he leads laps effectively at this race. Ayrton trying desperately to follow him.
I remember there's a couple of points for leading the lap, a couple of points for most laps led as well. These are important ones that add up over the course of the season. There's 9 races, well I guess 8 that count. So if you do that 8 times, that's 16 potentially more points that you can get. If you get all the bonus points over the course of the season, that's basically a whole extra race win, including 0x races, but I don't think there's going to be many people getting that in this championship. Lap 67 goes by. Marcus Byfeld leads by 0.4 of a second. We see some battles in behind. Crook goes back behind Helmbro. So Helmbro is working his way forward a little bit. Eriksson's still not close enough to get on the back of that battle, but interestingly, Linus Broström is holding on in 9th place a bit further back. He's still 5 seconds off the lead, despite those older tyres, and is still giving him half an opportunity to get a good result today.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a remarkable sort of tactical race so far, strategical race so far, and still there's so many drivers who have got real cards to play. in the final or the second half of this race. Very few a long way off at the moment. Only two retirements further down the field, or near retirements further down the back end of the field, which is absolutely fantastic to see in this second round of the championship. Over the line again. Eracingligan still stuck behind Tony Uvinen here. The top, top 8 at the moment, all with that new tyre strategy, and they've all, with the exception of Leppert, got 2 sets of tyres down on pit lane at the moment as well. Linus Broström now drops 5.5 seconds away. That gap's growing, and his need for a caution grows too.
Certainly does. Interesting, we see that the front, Gunnarsson's not completely driving away, so that tyre offset does come back a little bit. And on the last lap, he did almost exactly the same time as the leaders. So I wonder if he's actually going to turn around and start getting in the way of these guys. We'll have to find out as we're getting 55 laps remaining in this race. Lap 70 comes around the MABI 400 here, and it's Byfeld leading the way. We've got a mixture of strategies all going on here, as that's getting very close. Eracingligan and Uvinen in towards the first corner. This is for second place. Car up ahead, Marcus Byfeld not getting away, but not really being under threat from these guys either. We've got Leppert in the background trying to have a bit of a run on Fredriksson, but not quite enough, as in the foreground. Eracingligan gets his front bumper to the inside. We work our way in towards turn number 3. The 24 goes up the inside for second position, trying to make it work. We've seen this before with Uvinen. He doesn't always fight on the first corner, but the second corner he does, and he keeps it there on the outside of 4. Very trusting for Eracingligan not to come up, but doing a good job keeping a couple of car widths away from each other down the front straight.
And this time, not letting that sort of gap between them fool one another as they meet again, coming off of whether it's turn 2 or turn 4. As we've seen on multiple occasions tonight, drivers have come up when they're not quite clear, but Eracingligan is clear, and now he comes up, now he's into second position. Meantime, out front, Marcus Byfeld wants to extend his lead further. It's nearly a second, but he wants to put Gunnarsson a lap down again. Byfeld knows that Gunnarsson's going to be a contender this season because they were 1 and 2 last time out, and Gunnarsson goes back to 2 laps down again. He's got a lot of fighting to do to get back on the lead lap in the last third of this race.
Yeah, he certainly does. His problem is there's 3 other drivers 1 lap down anyway, so he's got a lot of work to do. He's already 28 seconds behind Dante Forsberg in that regard, so I guess it's not going to make the biggest difference in the world, but you'd rather be a lap less down off the lead. Let's see how that one works, because interestingly, on the fresher tyres initially, he was able just to drive past everyone, but now that it's settled down, another 5-10 laps later, and Byfeld is able to have that consistency factor come back in. I guess Gunnarsson is probably pushing harder than he would if he was in second place in reality on the road. So he's probably working those tyres a bit harder. But even then, I think Byfeld has just shown that he's got the speed in this championship, in this car. And everyone's on the fixed setup as well. So it's nothing that he's doing different in that regard. He's just got a lot of control of this B-class NASCAR car.
Yeah, absolutely. And meantime, Fredriksson tries to stop the overtakes happening to him at the moment. He's down to 5th. Janus Leppert just in behind in 6th position, and then there's a bit of a break in the group. Jesper Eriksson and Christopher Crook not able to go with these guys at the front for the moment. They've all been out there pretty much now, all of them, for 24 laps as they come towards the end of this one, so still a good 15 laps away from when they need to stop. Will we see stops earlier though? Because in 12 laps time they'll be able to make it to the end with just the 1 stop.
Yeah, that's an interesting factor. If we get the green flag, sorry, the yellow flag before they really would want it, then they're going to have to stop again or save a load of fuel to the end. And it's always a difficult decision when we get to that point as well. So the drivers, they're having a difficult day out there. I tell you what, it's not been an easy day by any means here at Auto Club Speedway. It's a tricky track, and it's very, very interesting racing. Indeed, we're going to get to 50 laps remaining in the race. The 105 of Byfeld is going to lead by 7/10 of a second. He's pulling away from Gunnarsson. Remember, Gunnarsson is a lap down, but obviously a good driver in terms of reference speed that we can use at the front. But Byfeld is doing a great job, as he did at the previous race, winning the opening round of the season. Now coming back, he was a little bit quiet in the opening stage of the race. He always drives into the wall in the background, pushing hard. He was a little bit quiet in the opening stage of the race, sat in that third position for a long time, worked his way up into second, maybe made a slightly wrong strategic call physically at the stage, only getting 1 point, but he's looking strong at the front now.
Yeah, absolutely. There he is, 3/4 of a second is the current gap with 50 laps to go. So controlling this race really, but he's not got in the grand scheme of things, a very big gap. I guess it is for this venue, but not in the grand scheme of things. Leppit down the inside. Oh, he's drifting up from the white line a little bit. Fredriksson not budging. The two of them door to door coming off of turn 2. And now this is going to cost them a lot of time. Jesper Eriksson will catch up behind it. Directly behind them, though, is one of the lap cars. I think it's Lars Bolkert, who's currently in the free pass position. Almost, he'll be almost willing them to hit one another here so that there can be a caution and he could be back on the lead lap.
What a fight between these guys. Fredriksson keeping it inches away from Leppit, but around the outside he goes. And that one is done in the end. So Leppit not able to have the momentum that he would have wanted on that inside line, but great racing room given between each other. They didn't push and barge and get each other out of the way. That was just hard racing. And what a move by Fredriksson to get himself up into 5th position. Leppit drops back further now behind the lapped car. So not able to keep up, and that really is a good example how the lap cars can end the battle very quickly, because once you get an extra car in there, obviously physically you're not able to battle your rival as it stands. So that is a good move there by Fredriksson, perfectly timed and able to work his way forward. He is a little bit behind Tony Uvenen, needs to get that draft in, but should be able to put himself back close.
Yeah, let's see how the next sort of 10 laps go. I feel they're very crucial for this race. The older tyres for perhaps the final time today, and the final pit stops perhaps coming up in the next few moments as well, and not very large gaps indeed at the front. Aldson's led a lot of laps today, and it's taken him a while to battle himself back towards the front after not taking tyres under the first caution of the day. I think that's cost him in a moment that's really cost him until now, but now he's closing in for the race lead, less than half a second. There's a replay from Lars Bolker's point of view. Leppit and Fredriksson battling with one another. As you said, a fantastic battle between them.
Yeah, look how close they got, but enough room given, and that is great to see. As Kenneth Tier actually gets past Linus Broström, so Broström on P10 now, with his teammate of Kenneth Tier getting past. That is a awkward situation. The good thing is he's got 3 seconds back to Marcus Hagman, so he doesn't have a load of threat behind. But Hagman's basically in the same strategy as Broström. These guys, they led, just before the stage. They got the points that they wanted, but now they are suffering from that decision. We've actually got a pretty short pit window here, so there's 46 to go. So the earliest you really want to stop is 40 to go, but they've already done 30 on the stint. So you're going to have to pit, in 10 laps, which means there's only about a 5-lap window where everyone is going to need to stop. So either if you need fuel to get to the end, or you just want to go as early as possible, it's a very short window. There's going to be a very, very busy pit lane. Especially if we say green flag racing, this could be crucial moments for the result of this race.
Yeah, I think so. And as you mentioned, that sort of narrow window means that there's going to be a lot of drivers coming down pit lane at the same time, and braking on the inside line there, as you just saw there, through to turn 3 and 4, could cause trouble on the way into pit lane. Often does at other places. Not the worst intermediate venue for actually getting onto pit lane around. It's not too bad in these at Auto Club, but it is something to be wary of, that you don't get driven into the back of as you're trying to come down to pit lane, although maybe the tight window will help with that, so that everybody knows what's happening. But look at how close they all are. Somebody in the middle of all that decides to come into pit lane, it's going to cause the rest of the group to scatter around.
Yeah, it's still just a little bit too early. You have to save a bit of fuel. We're told lap 40 is the number, and for those who are unaware, these tanks are 90%. So they're slightly less than a full tank as well. So if you're thinking, oh, in my stint I can do 44 laps, or cool, but we have that 10% less which is very, very crucial in this championship. And I think the 4 sets of tyres really is one of the major rules in this championship, because a lot of the time you get limited to 1 set of tyres that you have to be careful with. And for a lot of drivers, that was choosing it at the caution before the stage. And some drivers, they're about to have their cookies when they're able to have these fresh tyres to the end and trying to have as fast a stint as possible. We're looking at the battle for the lead as Marcus Byfeldt leads by now 0.2 of a second. Aronson's chasing was down. They've pulled away from Peter Helmbro, now has got up into 3rd position. So Byfeldt's not having this one so easily.
No, absolutely. And I think he might have gone out a little bit too hard in the opening part of this run, to be honest. He might well just be paying for that now, because in an ideal world, he'd want to pit now, knowing that his tyres are just a little bit getting away from him here, and he's being really challenged for him for race lead. But the lap counter in the top left is what's preventing him from doing that at the moment. 42 laps still remain in this race, and that is preventing Byfeldt from coming in for at least the next couple of laps here, because if this race goes green to the end, he'll be caught short and he will need to stop again if he were to pit or have pitted before now. Can Aronson punish him, though, at this late stage in the run? Can he just show to Byfeldt that I've got better long-run pace? Almost a psychological overtake more than anything else. I think it would be important, though. Maybe Aronson is sort of binning all that off and just deciding to stay behind to maintain the gap over the rest of the field, which has its advantages as well.
We're having a great battle between Leppert and Ericsson at the moment, P6, P7 for about 2 laps now. They'll be going side by side, towing each other ahead. Oh, someone's in the wall. I think that's Ericsson is in the wall. Leppert's going to have that position as he gets through. Ericsson's now under a big attack from the cars in behind. Got Crook there. Was a car a lap down as well, trying to get involved. That is not ideal for the champion of 2 seasons ago. But let's see what is going to happen on the exit of turn 4. Looks like he's going to be right on the back of Leppert. There's going to be 40 laps to go, and it's really against crucial crunch time now, because we can pit to the end from now, but you also going to need to stop within the next 5 laps. So these next 5 laps, these next 10 miles, are probably the most crucial of the race.
Yeah, so far, definitely. And Kenneth Cheer's in. I'm surprised Kenneth Cheer's the only one. I would have been right in there, if I'm honest. That absolutely makes sense, because don't forget, even if there's a late caution, everybody has another set of tyres, bar Leppert, has another set of tyres down on pit lane to play with here. And Leppert, by the way, for Leppert, having this race run as long as it has done has been a very good thing for him. As long as this stays green to the end, he's got a very solid chance of a top 5 result. But if there is another caution at any stage, I think, well, unless it comes about now, I think he'll be in a bit of trouble. Kenneth Cheer maybe come in for something else. He's not having a normal stop there, 23 seconds.
Yeah, what you mean is if you have a late caution with, say, 10 to go, and everyone stops for the fresher tyres, they're going to absolutely cream him in those final couple of laps, because he will not be able to hold on, as he will have to stay on that set of tyres. The one that they're about to stop on now, he have to stay on that to the end. Byfeldt is pulled away by 1/10 of a second or so as he holds on to the race lead. When are these guys going to pit? Are they going to stay as long as they can of this stint, have a shorter stop as possible, or are they trying to wait for some sort of caution to have a free pit stop? I guess they don't want to stop. They might as well go long, because they don't want to stop first and go a lap down. Then a caution comes out, everyone else stops, and they're stuck a lap down.
Well, exactly. It's an apprehension that is surprising me, though, I must say. Even despite all that, you know that more cautions later on, you can take another set of tyres. So, surprised they are going on longer than the 40 laps to go mark. They haven't reached 40 laps in this stint, though, and because there's been a couple of cautions within it, you'd expect them maybe to even go 44 laps as far as a stint is concerned here. So maybe they've even got the ability to get right down towards 30 laps to go. But again, not entirely seeing the benefits of running out too long. Maybe once one comes in, everybody else will follow. That is what tends to happen occasionally in these type of longer runs.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of those things where the floodgates open and everyone decides this is the time, and they just need someone to be the guinea pig and to take the bait for everyone else. Look at this battle. The top 3 have got away. Tony Uvenham is the black and red car on that inside line. He's got a big battle holding on. Fredriksson has got to the outside. He's got Leppert. He's got Ericsson. Even Christopher Crook is in the background of this one. Let's see how this one goes. On the outside line, it's going to be for Fredriksson. He's been making bold moves all day. There goes another one on the outside as Uvenum does have, he has got nothing to defend on that one. Leppert in the green and white machine is getting a run onto the front straight away as well. Going right, going left, trying to find his way through as we work our way down to the first corner. This is a great battle. What's that? 5 cars all in picture going for positions in the top 10.
Yeah, it is 5 in 1, and Leppert is starting to come good at the end of this run as well. It looks like he's taking care of his tyres rather well, although he would do with the amount of sets he's got remaining. Inside line of Tony Uven, it looks like he's going to return to the top 5 here, if at all possible. There he goes, diving down the inside. And Leppert, well, this is going to take quite a long time, isn't it? It's one of those battles that is just going to take a while. Ericsson stuck behind Leppert as well, and in comes Ericsson, yes, and with Oscar Fredriksson. They both stop. This might act as the catalyst now for the rest.
Yeah, I think so. 35 laps there, lap 40 of the stint for most drivers out there at the front. This makes a whole load of sense to come in right now, but it's a crucial moment for those who stay out and how long they want to go, how long they want to stretch it, and potentially any time they could save in pit lane. But I guess if they're taking all 4 tyres, that is going to be the determining factor of their stop time anyway, as the 112 there is taking no tyres? He's not
that
up on
can't
the jack.
be possible.
No, where is he? Is he?
Oh, now
Oh,
he's doing it.
He must have sped. He must have sped, surely, and serving a time penalty.
Or forgot initially and only checked the tyres while he was in the box. I don't know if he can do that, but if he forgot, then it would have taken the entire... Yeah, because that pit stop has the length of someone who's done a fuel stop and then done tyres, almost in the way that GT racing used to happen. So I think he forgot to put tick the tyres initially, and now he's... and after 15 seconds, he realised.
That is a big mistake, because that's a lot of time loss from him in the end. What was his pit stop time? Was 29 seconds. So yeah, 15 seconds he lost, double the stop time of other people. And to be honest, 15 seconds around here is almost half a lap. So he's going to be way down on those top 5 positions that he was battling for. Your leaders come in. Top 2, Byfeld, Araton, and this is crucial for the leader. Let's see who is going to have the shortest stop there, about door to door as you work our way into the boxes. They got the final couple of positions after their qualifying positions. So let's see who is going to have the fastest pit crew, who is going to win the race off pit road. Oh no, he's missed his box as Byfeld. So surely this is going to give the lead to Alex Aronson when we get to the exit of the stops, and that could be crucial in terms of track position. They're going to have 33 laps to go, 32 I guess, when we leave. And yes, look at that, Aronson is going to have the lead. And is that going to be a crucial mistake from the 105?
Very costly. I mean, we saw that Aronson was quicker over a longer run anyway, but to be fair, there's 33 laps to go, and initially Byfeld was quicker when they got themselves on to the green flag for this run. Out of the pit lane, though, they've both done that rather nicely. It's got quite a narrow pit exit here between the banking and that white line there. Quite a narrow exit road, but there goes Ericsson, showing the merits of an earlier stop there, and Peter Helmbro has already flew past all of them. So he is going to be the leader of this race, to be caught by Aronson, but he is in front of Byfeld, I guess, which is the key thing here.
Yeah, the undercut, putting those fresher tyres on early, and Ericsson, who was laps down, actually has half a chance of winning this race, which is pretty crazy. But that is NASCAR racing. Let's see how this one ends. Linus Broström is in pit lane as well. He would have been loving to see the pit stop come up because he's been waiting for those fresher tyres. He does have a set save, though, for a late caution, like most drivers, but he's going to be way down on where he could have been. So he gained 10 points on Aronson, but in terms of the stage, and again 9 on Byfeld. But if they get higher than 5th fourth position, which they probably will, then they're going to gain those points back here if Linus is not able to get inside the top 10. So it's a very tricky, interesting situation in terms of the numbers and which would have been better. Was it whether it was better to prioritize the stage or whether it was better to prioritize the race? We'll find out only when the race ends, because there's still 30 laps to go. Helmbro leads legitimately at the front with Aracingligan, Eracingligan and Byfeld.
Yeah, it's all change really. But the front group, which has been so large throughout this race, I think we can say has been reduced to 4, really, with those latest pit stops. Helmbro, Aracingligan, Eracingligan and Byfeld. A bit further down, the stage winner, Linus Broström, all the way down in 11th. And I'm really surprised why he waited so long to come in there. Surprised he could make it on fuel, first of all. Well, I suppose he had the same fuel as everybody else, but certainly not the same tyres. And surprised he therefore waited so long. I would have been in lap 40 or 40 to go with him, to be honest, but there you go. He decided to stay out and has got a long way to recover from there. 10th position for him now, but Aracingligan is out front and surely about to retake this race lead over Peter Helmbro. Good strategy to get to the lead for Helmbro, but how long is it going to last?
Yes, I guess it's just a couple of laps, but a couple of laps will make a big difference. And I think either way, he's probably not going to be fast enough, even if he had, 1 or 2 laps fresher tyres to hold off from the 24 and the 105 as it stands. Byfeld would be absolutely killing himself for making that mistake, because he'd be right here. He'd be right next to these guys. It'd be a three-way battle, but instead, he's a little bit further back and behind Jesper Eriksson, which is an important character in this championship charge. A slide from the 77 on the inside there of turn number 2. That might lose him some momentum as he work our way down the back straight away. Less than 60 miles to go in this MABI 400 here at Auto Club Speedway. To the outside, the 24 goes. Tries to find his way to the lead, but look at this battle on the inside for Helmbro. He's not giving up, and he wants to hold on.
I think Aracing's going to have this eventually, but it could take some time. Helmbro going to hold him up high as he did to Gunnarsson early on, if you remember. He didn't go down to towards the apron there to make the shortest distance. He wanted to make clear to Aracingligan that he was going to be staying up high here in towards 1 and 2. Really high. Aracingligan really taking that quite literally. Very close to the wall. And they're a long way apart from each other. Let's hope Helmbro can see that they are still side by side. That's how incidents have happened. That's how we've seen them happen in the times previous. But Helmbro was able to recognise that. Aracingligan on the outside line, though, still holding firm here. And he's going to tuck back in now, is he? On the way through 3 and 4. He tucks underneath. He might well go to the other side over the start-finish line.
What a battle for the lead we're having here. They get closer and closer as you work away through the checkers. It's going to be the 24 who leads across the line, but into turn 1, Helmbro's not giving this one up to the outside line. He's fighting so hard to hold on to this one. Is he using too much tyre? Eriksson and Byfeld are coming as the 24 is finally able to get through. He's a couple of car lengths ahead as we work our way to the back straight. And Aracingligan, who won our previous race here at the beginning of the 2024 season, but working our way through. He's still got 27 laps to hold on here.
Yeah, it's a long way to go, but I think Aracingligan is odds-on favourite at this stage in the race, considering his long-run speed that he had earlier on. Byfeld went out to a pretty quick start on the long run previous to this, before that round of green flag pit stops, but he's got a head start over him this time as Aracingligan, as he got through in the pit lane. As you mentioned, Jesper Eriksson is going to be a key player in this season, so this is an important overtake for Byfeld to make as well, and it could perhaps be quite close between these two by the end of the race. And with the drop round, Eriksson still a championship contender, so here comes Byfeld wanting to put him behind him in towards 3 and 4, and now their battle begins. Could this go on for quite a while as well?
It certainly will, and this is what we wanted to see, isn't it? Byfeld Eriksson, they battled for the Formula 4 championship a year and a half ago, and it was in the end Eriksson who came out on the top of that one in the first season. Byfeld came out on the top in the second season, and then unfortunately Byfeld Eriksson not really going on track too much since. Eriksson not getting involved in the road course stuff, where Byfeld was able to take championship victories in the GT3s, in the Porsche Cups as well. But now finally, on the oval side of things here at the Bohlin Svenska iRacing League, we're seeing these two titans battle it out on the track. this is what we love to see. Ericsson from a lap down and Byfeld from the pole, going from front to back to front, getting themselves here, battling for the lead once again. 25 laps to go. Aronson leads Helmbro, Byfeld and Ericsson. Unfortunately, no one else is really close. Leppert, Uvnen, they've been absolutely dropped. Linus has got back up into 7th position with some speed, so he's recovering, but he really needs a caution to get back to the front.
Absolutely does. We've been saying that for quite some time now for Broström. Leppert needs exactly the opposite here. We're at the stage in the race now where he would absolutely be screwed over by a caution. He'll be praying that there is no further interruptions for the remainder of this race. For the rest of them, I think they'd be indifferent. The normal thing about cautions coming out and whatever is the sort of battle between do I come in or don't I? I think the choice is so obvious around here that people will be pretty indifferent to a caution coming out because everybody will come in and take tyres. Anyone who doesn't will get absolutely smashed. And that means that it will just be a sort of late race restart, really, sort of as they are now, which is a little bit unusual, really. Very rarely is it such a slam dunk decision, I think, to make a pit stop for a late caution.
Oh, absolutely. You've got to save the tyres, though, around here. And it kind of surprised me that with the gaps that we've had spread out there, I guess it was just those couple laps here and there. Those who pit earlier really gained a lot of track position from that. And I think, that 8-second gap, they're not going to lose that in the final 5 laps when everyone, because the pace sort of stabilizes, they're not going to lose that at the end. So it really did make sense coming in early. And as you say, even the likes of Broström, he probably would be even in 5th place had he come in those couple laps earlier, or maybe at least ahead of Tony Uvnen. So that was a bit of potential time lost there from his side of things, but just shows you that the tyres are so crucial. We're going to have this at a lot of tracks this season, just with this car compared to the next gen of last season. This Xfinity car really wears the tyres quite a bit more and uses it. And with those 4 stints, 4 sets, I should say, you are a little bit limited. And let's see how it works out. In the previous season, 2 seasons ago, I should say, when we were last using this car, the strategic options certainly were a bit more wide open compared to next year.
Yeah, this is a very different category of racing, it feels like. It does feel also like it is a little bit more popular as well. You hear complaints all the time about the way the next gen drives compared to these cars, which are a little bit more old school, seemingly a little bit more to drivers' liking as well. Still 22 in this race. At least there's Fagerberg, Skoglund and Lundberg all out of the race, but still a decent entry out on the circuit. 12 cars on the lead lap, although Christopher Gerrits is not that far away from these guys being put a lap down. 20 laps to go. Byfeld closer than ever to Helmbro, but he's sticking with Aronson quite nicely. So it is very much 3 for the lead.
This is what we love to see. Just a couple of tenths of a second between these guys. And it is so close. Byfeld wants to go 2 for 2 to start the season. Ericsson can't hold on, so he's let Byfeld go. And now Byfeld in that yellow Toyota to the outside line is trying to make it work. We're going to go 3 wide for the lead. We've got the inside line of Helmbro. We've got the outside for Aronson, but the up and under for Byfeld. He's trying to get the run on both of them. 20 laps to go. Not very far left in this race. And we still don't know which of these drivers is going to win. I thought Aronson would pull away when he got to the lead, but he's not been able to do so. As Helmbro's going to go for the lead, the 105, trying to slide his way through the middle. Not enough for him that time around. As once again, Helmbro dives it to the inside, but not quite enough. Aronson holds on.
Oh, watch him turn underneath though here by Byfeld. He's just waited for Helmbro to slide up towards Aronson. Of course, he's compromised on the exit as well. Aronson switches from the high side to the low side to try and make sure that Byfeld is not going to pass him. Almost throwing a super speedway style block there on the straight. And that meant that Byfeld couldn't, well, he wasn't going to get through anyway, but it made absolutely sure of it. Helmbro now back to 3rd. He felt that the best chance for him to hold on to 2nd was to attack for the lead. In the end, he was wrong. Well, maybe he was right, but he hasn't been able to do either of them. He's unfortunately dropped into 3rd place. Now he watches the 2 top contenders of this race this afternoon battle it out for what's likely to be the win and see if he can maybe play a role in it somewhere.
This is an amazing race between these drivers. 3 different teams at the front, 3 different manufacturers, and 3 titans going for the race victories. Byfeld to the inside now. This might be game, set, and match if he gets through to the inside. The 24 needs to battle this one, but the 105 is too strong. He gets through already through turn 3. And as we exit turn 4, he's got the lead. 17 laps remain in this race. Big slide there from Helmbro as he tries to hold on with the pace of these two front runners. It's Eracingligan who won at this track last time. It's Byfeld who won at the previous race 2 weeks ago. This is absolutely intense at the front.
It absolutely is. These two are absolutely playing for keeps here at the front of the field. They are going to be well, I'm not sure about first and second. One of them is going to be the winner. I'm pretty sure about that, unless they take each other out here somehow late on in this race. And Byfeld is going for back-to-back, don't forget, as well, after winning in Nashville. That was a pretty hard fought-for victory. This one is going to have to be as well if he's going to get there. Eracingligan not far behind. Helmbro was waiting to pick up the pieces, but based on that last on-board we have, he is very, very loose at the moment, and that car didn't look too nice to drive.
Yeah, really just needs to hold on to that third position, and hopefully something will happen at the front. But last week, between Lindhoff and Byfeld in the Road Course Series, we didn't see that. We saw a great battle, but no major incidents. 2 weeks ago, back on the Oval Series, we saw Gunnarsson versus Byfeld, and again, a great battle, no major incidents. So Byfeld knows how to battle hard but fair. Skoglund gets the meatball with 16 to go. That just puts his day from bad to worse. He's already 56 laps down. And yeah, basically that is going to be day done for him. I'm sure he's already spent quite a long time in the pit lane as you come out onto the front straightaway once again. And it is so close. Is anyone making some moves in the background? Broström is catching up to these guys overall. Of course, there's not going to be enough laps for him to catch fully. He's not really getting close enough to Uvenen though. And Leppert again not getting to the top 4. Ericsson just staying close, but not close enough to be in this top battle as the three guys continue their battle at the front. I think, though, they have swapped around, though, and it's probably in pace order, so it might be quite difficult for Helmbro to get either of these guys.
Yeah, it might be. It's just so fascinating to ride on board with Eracingligan here and watch on the different lines. I think Byfeld might be repeating his mistakes from the previous run, although, to be fair, it was only late on where he was getting pressure in that previous green flag run, or indeed that previous set of tyres, I should say. It's all part of the same very long green flag run to what looks like the end of this race. Eracingligan, though, very late on, had the edge in terms of pace. Is that going to repeat itself here, or is this race going to go into this stint? Indeed, this race going to go long enough for Eracingligan to see that balance come back in his way? Because Byfeld through the middle of this stint does look to be just that little bit stronger. But as I say, is he repeating the same mistake again? We're only, after all, 20 laps coming at the end of this one in this stint. That's really not a very long way. Only half of the way through what these fuel tanks and these tyres can really do.
Indeed. I mean, we're already basically 2 seconds off the pace as well in terms of the best laps of the race. So these guys are struggling already. There's still 13 to go. And any late caution from this point is going to be pretty incredible because everyone's going to have to stop and it's going to be a sprint to the end. We've already done 20 odd laps since those green flag stops. So what a run this is, Ewan, in terms of a green flag since our previous restart. The drivers have settled down, no major incidents since then. And really showing you what can be done here in this league as there's a big slide there from Byfeld as he tries to rotate the car. Eracingligan pushing as well, gets up into the barrier and unfortunately slows down his momentum, so Helmbro does actually think about it coming back for second.
Yeah, indeed. He gets to the inside as well. Now, is this Byfeld's chance to maybe get away, or is Eracingligan going to be able to put off this attack pretty much straight away? Out of turn number 2, is the run good? Yeah, Helmbro just doesn't look like he's got a car underneath him at the moment that can do something right now. He just looks very, very loose, and Eracingligan able to get away pretty easily. Interesting to sort of reference the last round of this championship, I think, when we're talking about this, because we saw a lot of cautions and a lot of short green flag runs at Nashville 2 weeks ago. Now, that circuit, admittedly, very, very different to this one. Quite narrow, really. A bit steeper, but concrete in terms of its surface. And it was a really stop-start, especially in the first half of that race. So glad that we've got some proper long green flag races, and indeed a lot of green flag pit stops here today, which I don't think we had any of last time.
No, and green flag pit stops are always what we love to see because you get these strategic battles. And yes, we have ended up with only really a 4-car fight for the lead compared to a big train that we saw earlier. But this is, a more representative sort of order in terms of the quality of the drivers pitting at the right time, having the pace on the longer runs as well. It's not just about getting lucky with the caution. It is about planning your race and getting yourself to the front, which is exactly what we want to see. We're going to come to 10 laps to go here. The MABI 400 coming to a close with just, 20 odd miles left in this race. It is getting to crunch time for these drivers as they try and hold on to their car. Peter Helmbro moving around already. He is keeping up with these guys though, but he doesn't have that little bit of an edge on the tyres to really push forward. So I think it is Ericsson versus Byfeld, maybe into the wall there for Ericsson in the background as well, who's just slowly dropping off in 4th place.
Yeah, absolutely. Ericsson not, unfortunately, able to be a factor here, although that 4th place is very secure. 9 laps to go as they get to the line. Ericsson has got to start working on something soon because I know 9 laps feels like a long way to go, but actually when you consider how long it's been taking to actually make moves so far in this race, 9 laps isn't very long at all. It's been lap after lap after lap of side by side, and surely that is only going to be an increased effect when this is the battle for the race win, which this surely is now.
Oh, it really is. And it is a tense action out there because the car's moving around. You don't know if someone a bit further back is going to cause a late caution. Everyone's going to dive into the pit lane and get fresh tyres if that is true. But, I mean, I guess even if it's just going to be a 1 or 2 lap shootout at the end, you're going to have to stop at a caution and take the fresher tyres. Otherwise, you're going to get gobbled up. It's a really intense piece of driving for these guys, keeping these on the road. It's been a tough old track out there today. It's been a long slog. Obviously, the previous lap count of 109 laps, that's been and gone. We're already past that compared to what we did the last time we were at this track. We're going longer and longer in this race compared to what we did before. And the drivers, and bear in mind, that was actually in the same car. So when we were here in sort of August or so of 2024, that was also in this B-Class O'Reilly's car. So let's see. Around the outside, Peter Helmbro thinks about it. Maybe that's just opening up the corner. Oh, actually, there, Ericsson. No way is he coming into the pit lane. Has he got an issue there? Is he coming down pit lane? What is going on here? He must have the fuel to the end. What is going on here?
This is highly unusual. 26 laps only through a stint. This is only 2/3 of a fuel tank. He's got a set of tyres down in pit lane, but it'd be lunacy to go in and use it under green flag conditions. He's coming into his pit box, or is he? No, he's taking a drive through. Now he's coming in. So what is going on here? Does he go up on the jacks at all? Is it just for fuel? This is very, very unusual. 5.7 seconds in the box. He must have accidentally underfueled somehow. That is a catastrophic and very, very elementary error.
Absolutely. I guess if there was a caution, we would have never found out that being the situation with the tyres taking longer than the fuel. But the caution never came. It stayed green. Maybe he underfueled to try and have a shorter stop to try and get that track position in some way. But I guess because they were taking tyres, it didn't really matter. That must just be a mistake there. He's going to stay on the lead lap, but he's losing points now to Linus. He's losing so many points to Marcus, who's going to get an easy victory here because Peter Helmbro's car's moved around so much more. He's going to have 5 laps to go to bring it to the end. And this, both in terms of the race, but in terms of the championship as well. Another contender of Ericsson having issues. Gunnarsson, of course, having issues today. This is a big, big points gain for Marcus.
Wow, that is very surprising. I can't remember the last time I was this surprised in one of these races, to be honest. I couldn't really comprehend that someone of, that much stature in terms of races won in this series in the past and so on could make such an error. But he's now 11th, and as you say, losing points to all the main contenders. And Marcus Byfeld looks like he might well go back-to-back here. As you mentioned, he's not really done very much over racing in this series. A lot of road racing and a lot of winning as well. And so far, a lot of winning at the start of this season too. Pretty remarkable.
Yeah, just showing you that there is overlap between the road course and the oval stuff. And I mean, a lot of it is just keeping control of the car, keeping control of the tyres on these longer runs. And that is something that he's done. Oh, caution comes out, though. 4 laps to go. What on earth has gone on here? We got Linus going past Tony for P5, P6. Oh, they must be the cars involved because Uvenen's got a meatball. We got a teammate, is that Gyros? No, it's Crook, I think, having some problems out on that front straight. Yeah, it is Crook. What on earth has gone on here? Because we're going to get a late caution. Is there going to be a 1-lap dash at the end?
I think, well, it's going to be 2 laps minimum, but yes, we do have, I guess it's green, white, checkered time already, I suppose, with this amount of time remaining. But yeah, very, very bad news for Marcus Beifeld. As I mentioned before, it's going to be a slam dunk decision, I think, as far as taking 4 tyres is concerned. But what a lifeline that is for Linus Broström, who's needed this for the last 60 laps or so. And an even bigger lifeline it is for Alexander Aronson, whose mistake is not quite going to be so costly in the end.
Having said that, he still lost time from where he was. There's Crook. So Crook goes around, it overcorrects, saves it. Big, big contact with Uvenen. And then we're going to see, is there further? Oh, we don't quite see on the outside if there's further contact. So it was just Crook really causing that problem himself. Big shame for Uvenen, who was having such a good day up towards the front. He is going to be able to repair some damage quickly, but I guess he doesn't want to spend too long in the pit lane when we come in. Otherwise, he's going to go way down the pack anyway. So you might as well just run that damage through this final couple laps. There's a big, big spin. The car goes to the right and then bounces straight in front of him. Nothing he could do.
No, absolutely nothing. And it's a shame for Uvenen as well, because he has one of his better runs tonight from the season. But let's see who stays out. I think that will be the more interesting thing to look at here. Does anybody stay out? Beifeld is going to initially say like he isn't going to come in. Oh, no, we've got a lot of people staying out. That is shocking to me. I mean, the difference in terms of tyre wear is massive. Beifeld comes in, Broström comes in, Leppit, Ericsson, Helmbro all stay out. I think they've made the wrong call.
I think it's one of these things. If everyone stayed out and Beifeld was the only car, let's say, to come in, I think it would be quite difficult for him to get past, let's say, 20 cars. But the fact that it's only now 3 cars that have stayed out, they're just going to get absolutely whitewashed. I do not see how they're going to last even 1 lap, let alone 2, in those positions. That's a big risk. And I'm not quite sure why they took it, to be honest, because they would definitely get a top 5 if they stopped. Now it's questionable if they get top 10. Yeah.
I think so. And yeah, just I get it from their perspective. I think they'd probably say, well, we're probably not going to win this race if we just follow what the race leader does, and that's all well and good. But as you say, it depends whether you want to go all out to win this race or you want to get a solid result. And you're right, they probably would have guaranteed a top 5 with a tyre change there. Leppit doesn't have a choice, of course. Talking more about Helmbro and Ericsson, who have decided to stay out here. So, yeah. If anything, they've helped Leppit a little bit more, because the fact there's more up towards the front means that stranger things could happen here. It also traps a lot of people a lap down still. So only 13 will restart on the lead lap here. Uvenen, Gyros and Bolka, though, having long stops here to try and get some stuff repaired before they get back going again on this final restart of the race. Lots of others still trapped multiple laps down in some cases.
Yeah, this is very, very intense out there on the track. And we are going to be seeing a green-white checkered situation. You are correct, Ewan O'Leary. Driver's going to go fan out, side by side. And we're going to be getting 2 more laps of action. The top 3 have all stayed out. They're on 33-lap-old tyres. They're going to be probably about 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds off the pace. Probably even more than 2 seconds at this point. They're really going to be struggling on the pace. So, what is this mess? Sorry to interrupt. This is what's happened when the lap cars stay out expecting a wave around, and it hasn't happened.
So they're all now in front of the guys on the lead lap who don't quite understand, some of them, that they need to come through. So this is going to take quite some sorting out. Hopefully it will get sorted out just in time for the green flag to be waved. But yeah, that's what all the mess is about here, getting the lead lap cars in front of those who are 1 lap down or more back in the pack. This, by the way, the first of potentially 2 attempts. We should have time for them if we need a second attempt, but that's it, only 2 attempts at this.
Absolutely, we're just on a 10 minutes to go on the total race time. So if you don't know, obviously we have the lap count, but there's also a total race time of 1 hour and 50 minutes that we can do, and we're inside the 10 minutes to go. It's going to be green, white checker time. 3 cars at the front have not stopped. Everyone else in behind on fresh tyres is surely going to be faster, but let's see what happens out there on the track. Helmbro, Ericsson, Leppit, the top 3. Beifeld, Broström and Hagman on the fresh tyres. Let's see, this green flag comes out. The MABI 400 has a green-white checker to the end. Cars brushing the wall, but it looks all good at the front. Leppit with a terrible start there. He's going to be absolutely mopped up by the 71 of Broström, who's on that inside line. As we're now seeing Beifeld just drive clean around the outside of Jesper Ericsson, but look at Broström on the inside line. He might be able to get Helmbro here on this back straight down to turn 3.
Yeah, Hagman right behind Beifeld, who's going to be boxed in here unless he can get clear of Broström, and he can. Now Beifeld's got the inside available to him if he wants it, but he's holding firm on the outside. This time Broström follows him. It looks like Beifeld... Oh, and Fredriksson's boxed in. He can't go anywhere there in the 112. He's going to slide. Marcus Hagman round the outside. Helmbro has cars passing him either side. White flag. This race is official with 1 lap to go. It's Marcus Beifeld in front of Linus Broström, who's looking for maximum points here, or near to maximum points anyway. He's got 2 more corners to try and find the win.
And Broström made a strategic blunder early on, but he's got the chance at a race win. It's just he needs to get past Beifeld. He's 4-5 car lengths back as we work our way down towards turn 3 and 4. Beifeld's had an absolute storm of a run. He chose the correct line, which was the outside line through turns 3 and 4. And the MABI 400 has just 2 corners to go. Marcus Beifeld has dominated the latter stages of this race after struggling at the start. And after all the strategic implications that we had, is going to be Marcus Beifeld coming across the line and taking the checker here at the MABI 400 Auto Club Speedway. 2 race wins in a row to start the season, and Linus Broström with another podium. There's a wreck in the background, but look at Marcus Hagman getting onto the podium for MHE Racing as well. What a race we had there.
Yeah, changes happening all around in the end there. Fredriksson, despite getting boxed in, as I said, through turn 4 on the second to last lap, still managed to get to 4th. That's 10 places better than where he qualified. Aronson managed to rescue a top 5 after that catastrophic error on the latter run of that race. But Beifeld goes back-to-back. Broström will have a very similar points haul to him, though. I still think he did make the right call. Eventually, I mean, the caution came out very, very late for it eventually to pay off, but I think he did make the right call, because by getting those full 10 points, he actually distanced a lot of those who finished up towards the front in the eventual race, including Beifeld. So I reckon Broström and Beifeld have scored very similar points this afternoon, but there's no questions as to who the championship leader is going to be, and that's Marcus Beifeld, who's had a pretty flawless start to the season.
Yeah, crazy day for championship-wise. Gunnarsson's down in 14th place in the end. Leppit is outside the top 10, and Helmbro and Ericsson just holding on to P9 and P10. They surely would have been guaranteed top 5s though if they pitted. I really think that. I think that was a big, big blunder. But I guess they had to try something, and they hoped that they could hold on. But even just there, in a couple of laps, Leppit's ended 3 seconds off the lead and 11 places behind. So just showing you how important the tyre strategy is here at Auto Club. We're being fed some donuts by Marcus Beifeld after he takes another race victory. Let's have a look, though, of course, at how the drivers ended up, because in the end, what was it? 12 drivers on the lead lap. This is the results for today's MABI 400. Marcus Beifeld, Linus Broström, Marcus Hagman, your podium for today, with Oscar Fredriksson in P4, Aronson in P5, Tia Giros, Bjorn Broström, Helmbro and Ericsson rounding out the top 10, with Beifeld also getting the fastest lap there on the very final lap of the race. Lars Bulka, Johannes Leppit and Håkan Schott, the top 12, they're the final drivers on the lead lap. Håkan Schott, the only driver 1 lap down, and we have Gunnarsson, Forsberg, Bohlin, Uvinen, Holmer, Crook and Kjellberg, your top 20. And then the final couple of drivers at the back, with Erling, Ek, Fagerberg, Skoglund and Lundberg, who are having some terrible times there. Unfortunately, Marcus Beifeld not able to join us, but we'll get Linus Broström in the commentary booth. We spoke to him just before the start of the race, and Linus, we were saying hopefully that we speak to you afterwards. that race was up, down, and all over the place. There was so much strategic options out there. And the first thing I want to know is, obviously you were able to win the stage with your strategic option. Yes, that got you points in the stage, but were you regretting that with how green it stayed towards the end?
Somewhat, but looking at where Marcus and Alexander finished, who I was racing with, or just behind, I think Biffeld scored like 1 point and Alex didn't score any points. So if you take that as a 0, and then I scored 10, I was going to finish 6th or 7th now instead of 3rd, so that's 3 points there. So in the end, I think it would have gained me 6-7 points, somewhere in that region. So I was still, even though I wanted to win, I was probably not gonna. So in the end, I think I made the right choice. And now seeing how this race played out with the late caution, I definitely made the right choice.
Yeah, it's always so difficult to predict early on in the race. How were you feeling in that first stage, by the way, when it was, for a while, it was you and Alex out the front, you had Marcus in behind. He was looking very calm, not really trying to overtake. Did you think at that point you really had the pace on him, or did you just know that Marcus was sort of chilling at that point?
Well, it's really hard to know in the early stages of the race, like where it's going to go. You're not really sure what your tire wear is going to be and how hard you've been racing the first few laps. But I kind of knew that once we get towards the end of the stage here, towards the pit stops, everything's going to flip on its head anyway. Some people are going to take tires, and some did really early. So I wasn't planning on fighting him too hard. He's there practicing with us quite a bit, so in practice he was struggling with his tire wear. So I was hoping that was going to stay in the race, but apparently it didn't, because he had great pace early on, but Alex as well had good pace. So in the end it was going to be about who was going to have the fastest pit stop and who was going to take tires and not, because we didn't tell each other who was going to do what, since we're still racing each other. And I didn't even have a plan for what to do for my pit stop yet, so I don't even know where I would have ended up. But then that caution came out and I took tires and none of the others did, so yeah.
Yeah, certainly an interesting one. How do you rate Auto Club? It seems, obviously, when we got the longer green flag runs, it calmed down the longer the stint went on, where people were struggling to battle with the tyres. But overall, that race was just all over the place with strategy, with some of the battles that we saw. It's a pretty intense one.
Yeah, in my opinion, it's one of the best NASCAR tracks there is, after Martinsville, or was, since it's no longer. But we're going to keep coming here as long as it's not a legacy track on iRacing, so I hope they're going to keep it. But it's a great racetrack. You can use all the lanes. In, I think, the next-gen car, you can use it a little bit more. Here, the outside line never really came in, and I tried to make the weather a little bit warmer to try and help that. But unfortunately, we didn't really get the wall riding line going today. But it's still a good track, and like you can use all the lanes, and there's people coming and going, and it's high tire wear like we saw today. And I think the lap we put the stage on was just perfect to make the strategies all over the place with the amount of tires. So in the end, I'm really happy with the event overall. We had, I think, 4 drivers disconnecting there as well in the first stage, and some drivers blinking out. So that kind of screwed the race up a bit for some. But overall, I think the racing was great, and it's really a driver's track, this. So yeah, a huge congratulations to Biffeld as well for going 2 for 2. It's not really a good look for us oval drivers when the road course superstar comes in and beats us twice, but we're going to have to work on that somehow.
Yeah, you got 7 races to go, so I'm sure you'll work it out. And yeah, good luck for the rest of the season, Linus.
Thank you. And regarding Alex as well, the reason he pitted is because he didn't get the full amount of fuel on his green flag pit stop, so he had to pit again. So it wasn't a strategy play, it was just an error somewhere.
Yeah, that's a shame. But hopefully Polski Logistics will come back stronger next round. We'll see you then.
Thank you.
Perfect. And then we will bring in Marcus Hogman here. And Marcus, a podium for you in your number 12 MHE Racing machine. That was a great result. You were up front for most of the day. You must have really been having quite a lot of fun out there on the track.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a lot of fun. This season has started way better than the last one. So yeah, I'm happy. The race was a little bit of a roller coaster. Because I didn't change tires like a few others during the stage, so I had to save a little bit. but so did the others. But I was just really slow on old tires.
Yeah, absolutely. How was it as a driver out there? We saw a lot of drivers sliding around, having struggles with the longer stints when we went green flag racing. Was it frustrating, or did you enjoy the challenge?
I mean, this car doesn't really matter if you slide it a little bit, because it's quite easy to handle it, even if it slides. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I was taking it a little bit too careful at the beginning of the tire stints there. So, but overall, I really enjoyed this one.
Yeah, perfect. And we go to Richmond next in a couple of weeks. How are you feeling for that track?
No comment. So if we leave it by that, I would really like to thank our sponsors, MABI Rental Cars and Lagerkungen, and also a little shout out to Flying Cone Racing, a racing team I also having a little fun with during endurance races, but most of all, I'm focused on the oval season, and I also do some GT3 with my team. And yeah, so I'll be driving next Thursday, I hope.
Well, we look forward to seeing you then. Thanks for joining us, Marcus, and well done on your podium today.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
No worries. Well, that rounds out the MABI 400 here from Auto Club Speedway. Tricky one out there for the drivers. But as I mentioned, we go to Richmond in a couple of weeks' time, the 12th of February. It's going to be the Aditon 250, and that is going to be a whole load of fun. And we go to Echo Park, New Hampshire, Kansas, Bristol, Talladega before crowning our champion at Homestead, Miami in May. It's been myself, Cam Roger, Ewan O'Leary alongside me. And we go to, of course, the Road Course Series next week as well. That's going to be a whole load of fun. Back to GT3 action, where we go to Virginia International Raceway. And of course, for today, it was Dane Bed on the production of the RaceSpotTV broadcast. And until next week, when we go racing for GT3 action, we wish you a very warm goodbye.